Authority is not fame. It's not influence. It's not popularity. Authority is trust with credibility and consistency over time. The mindset of authority is not look at me. The mindset of authority is let me help you. You gain confidence because you build credibility. And you build credibility because you take action. And you take action because you stop waiting for permission. Authority grows when you're willing to be a human, not just impressive. This is why AI can make you sound like an expert, but it can't truly build your authentic authority. The people who build authority in a noisy world are the people who out-consistent the noise. Borrow it until you can really build it. And then third, teach what you practice. I didn't say practice what you teach. I said teach what you practice. One of the fastest ways to destroy your credibility is teaching what you don't actually do. All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. Listen, I'm really glad that you're here with me today, and I'm super excited that we continue to be in the top 100 Apple podcasts out of tens of thousands of podcasts. In fact, I think we were number 53 the other day. I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you being part of our Daily Mastermind, and I hope that I'm bringing value to you. If I am, make sure that you share the show. At the end of the day, my goal, the only reason I do this show is to be able to help you to grow your mind, body, money, business, and lifestyle. And I do this because I've been where you are, and I'm there every other day too. So we're all growing. We're all moving to different levels. We're all building our confidence, our credibility, and our certainty in this world. And today I want to talk to you. You've heard me talk a lot about authenticity and authority, but today I want to talk to you about building that confidence and credibility and consistency that you need to truly be a leader in the industry. So we're talking about this topic because you're probably an entrepreneur, a CEO, a founder, and I want you to break through the noise. Now more than ever, the world is crowded, it's competitive, it's loud. Everyone has a platform. In fact, I've got some funny stories I can share with you because I've been working with some of the biggest thought leaders and authors even just over the last week or two. I've been building brands for 30 years, and even the biggest brands out there are having trouble cutting through the noise. But here's the truth. Most people are projecting a big image. Very few people are building authority, and very few people are building trust. And if you want to make money, if you want to make impact, if you want to have a legacy, you've got to have both authority, trust, and I would even say credibility that lasts. And that's why this concept of authentic authority, the real grounded, earned authority, is one of the most valuable assets that you can create in your business. Your authority is not a brand, it's your asset. Authority isn't about ego. It's not about looking good. It's not about being louder than everybody else. It's about alignment, consistency, and being the real deal, even offline and everywhere else in between. So today I want to talk to you about building that authentic authority. And so if you want to build true authority, and you've heard me talk about this a lot, you have to understand what authority actually is. Authority is not fame. It's not influence. It's not popularity. Authority is trust with credibility and consistency over time. Your authority is going to be the result of how you show up, how you think, how you communicate, how you deliver, and how you align yourself with your message and your mission. That is what authentic authority is. People can feel the difference between fake, a performer, and an actual leader. They can sense authenticity. You can sense it. You can sense it, and you can sense the integrity and the confidence that comes from someone that is an authentic leader. And here's what you need to know. It comes from three places. One is clarity of your identity. You got to know who you are, what you stand for, and what you're here to create. When you have that clarity, that's the first thing. The second thing is competence. Of course, it's the work, the skill, the result, the value that you bring. That is very important. But third, you got to show up. This is consistency. So clarity of identity, competence, and consistency. That's showing up and delivering and serving day after day after day. Authority is built. It's not just borrowed. It can be borrowed, but it's built. And the people who build real authority don't build from their ego. They build from service. They build from consistency. The mindset of authority is not look at me. The mindset of authority is let me help you. That's where it comes from. So let's talk about why confidence and credibility are built, not claimed. Like why you can't just get those logos we always try to get next to our name. See, there's a big myth about authority. People think that confidence comes first and then credibility comes after, but the reality is actually the opposite. You gain your confidence because you built credibility. It's like Alex Hormozy talks about all the time. When you stack the wins, confidence is going to come. You don't act Now look, I grew up acting as if. It's one of the things that we learn. But here's the truth of it. You gain confidence because you build credibility. And you build credibility because you take action. And you take action because you stop waiting for permission. Authority grows from the inside out, not outside in. That means you don't wait to become confident before you speak. You become confident because you speak. You don't wait to feel like an authority before you're polished up. You become an authority because you publish consistently. You can't be polished. You just got to publish consistently. And you don't wait till you feel qualified. Trust me. You begin becoming qualified because you're out there doing it. So here's the thing. Your confidence is a byproduct of your behavior, but your credibility is a byproduct of your actions. And so if you want authority, you have to line those things, your behavior and your actions. And here's the real key. Authority, when you're talking about authentic authority, it's not about being perfect. It's just about being transparent. The reps will build your consistency, but you've got to be transparent. People don't trust perfect leaders. I even catch myself sometimes now trying to make sure I'm doing everything right and doing everything perfect. But people want imperfection. Just look at the state of the economy right now and what people are getting the attention. When you're honest about the process, when you share your lessons, when you talk about your journey, your ups and downs, people will connect with you. They'll relate to you. They'll root for you, and then they'll follow you. And authority grows when you're willing to be a human, not just impressive. This is why AI can make you sound like an expert, but it can't truly build your authentic authority. So let's talk about how you build authentic authority in a noisy world, because there's several practices that really separate like a high trust leader from everyone else who's just acting as if or trying to be seen. The first thing is, and I'm telling you, this is from proven, time-tested principles I've seen from individuals over time that are true, authentic, authority leaders. First, you got to stand for something clear and consistently. People follow clarity. People follow conviction. People follow leaders who have a strong point of view. So ask yourself, what do I stand for? What do I believe? What's the core message of your brand and your business and your leadership? What problems are you here to serve? And, what is your stake in the ground for your message? Because if your message is vague, your authority is going to be weak. And if your message is clear, your authority becomes almost magnetic, if that makes sense. So stand for something super clear and consistent. Now, the next thing that I would recommend is, show up with value daily. Authority is built from frequency. It's reach, impact, and frequency is what's really going to get you out there and get you visible, but it's built by showing up with value consistently. So even when it feels like no one's watching, write, speak, record, teach, share. The people who build authority in a noisy world are the people who out-consistent the noise. You are the one that just constantly breaks through. And every piece of content you create, it becomes sort of a deposit for your authority. Now, I've talked to you before, so I'm not going to get into it here, but your true legacy content is what you want. That's stuff that continues to grow, like podcasts and YouTube videos and articles and things like that. But the key here is that you've got to show up consistently. And then the last suggestion I have for you is you've got to align your actions with your actual identity. This is a tough one for a lot of people because authority collapses when you're not aligned. When your message doesn't actually match your behavior, people say, wow, that guy's not real, or that gal's not real. They pay attention not just to what you say, but what you do, right? How you act. And, if you preach excellence but operate in chaos, your authority is not good. If you preach mindset, but you operate and have negativity, your authority is weak. And if you preach discipline, but you operate inconsistently, you're not going to have authority. So you've got to do what you say you're going to do. I always tell people, I say, listen, if you say you really want something and your actions don't validate that, it's doubtful you really believe it or you really want it, because the authority is not what you tell the world. It's what they see you as. It's your authentic, real self. So you've got to align with your real identity as well. Your authority is what the world observes about you. And so get serious about aligning with what your true identity is. And I think you're going to grow in a big way. Now, let's talk about building credibility, because credibility is kind of the backbone of authority. And in a crowded market, you build credibility not by being louder, you do it by being better, not by impressing, but by actually delivering. It's real value. And so there's a couple of like credibility accelerators that I made a note of I thought might kind of help you. So if you want to increase your credibility quickly and accelerate it, first, share proof and outcomes. Share results. Get actual client wins. Get testimonials. Get outcomes. What is the actual result you're doing, and share it. Second, borrow trust until you build it. This is where being on interviews or collaborations or in the room of networking and masterminds, when trusted people endorse you, I'm not saying borrow it like take their credibility. I'm saying when you're around the right people, they will interview you, collaborate with you, and help transfer credibility to you until you've developed it yourself. Authority is amplified through that association, okay? So share your wins, borrow it until you can really build it. And then third, teach what you practice. I didn't say practice what you teach. I said teach what you practice. One of the fastest ways to destroy your credibility is teaching what you don't actually do. People follow people that do what they say they're going to do. How you do anything is how you do everything. And then the last suggestion I wrote down is maintain integrity. I've been in this industry. I've been in marketing for a long time, and I can tell you I've seen them all come and go. And integrity is a foundation of authority. If you want to last and you want to have a legacy brand and true authority, you got to keep your promises. You got to honor your commitments. You got to do what you say you're going to do, follow through. And that's what makes a leader stand out in a world full of noisy, fakers. Authority is going to fade if your integrity is not there. So just do me a favor and really stay core to your integrity. Now, this is a message that, if it spoke to you at all and it helped you at all, I'd like to hear from you. Hit me up on the Daily Mastermind, Facebook, Instagram, reply back to these show notes. But let me know what it is that you're doing to build your authority. I want to help you. I've got plenty of resources with the Authority Media Network. We're doing free interviews in Valiant CEO magazine. We own a dozen magazines and, dozens of podcasts. But I'm here to help you. And if you don't reach out and you don't get that resource or help, it's only because you didn't ask. So if this topic is something that you're struggling with or you're doing and you're focused on, you want more acceleration, hit me up. Go to authoritymedianetwork.com, check out our site. You can get interviewed for free. And I'd love to help you out, because the world doesn't need more noise. The world needs more leaders with impact, real grounded, committed, core, authentic leaders. And if you're listening to this podcast, I know you're one of those. I know that you have greatness inside of you. You're not on your own. More and more people are feeling disconnected, but I'm telling you, there's a world of resources there if you just reach out. And it's never too late to start living the life, creating the life, building your impact, building your authority if you're willing to do the work. But you got to be willing to do the work. So that's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing day. I look forward to talking with you more tomorrow. Once again, my name is George Wright III, and this has been the Daily Mastermind.